नमः। ॐ सुमुखाय नमः। ॐ एकदन्ताय नमः। ॐ कपिलाय नमः। ॐ गजकर्णकाय नमः। ॐ लंबोदराय नमः। ॐ विघ्नराजाय नमः। ॐ विनायकाय नमः। ॐ धूमकेतवे नमः। ॐ गणाध्यक्षाय नमः। ॐ फालचन्द्राय नमः। ॐ गजाननाय नमः। ॐ वक्रतुण्डाय नमः। ॐ शूर्पकर्णाय नमः। ॐ हेरम्बाय नमः। ॐ स्कन्दपूर्वजाय नमः। ॐ श्री सिद्धिविनायक स्वामिने नमः। I'll do a very short nyasa and then we will start the Om Shancha me Mayascha me Priyancha me Nukamascha me Kamascha me Saumanasascha me Padrancha me Shreyascha me Vasyascha me Yashascha me Bhagascha me Dravinamcha me Yantacha me Dhartacha me Kshemascha me Dhatischa me Vishwancha me Mahascha me Sambitcha me Gyatrancha me Suscha me Prasuscha me Sirancha me Layascha me Ritancha me Yakshmancha me Namayaccha me Jivatuscha me Dirghayutvancha me Namitrancha me Hayancha me Sugancha me Shayanancha me Sushacha me Shrudinancha me. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraja. Om Namaste Rudramanyava Utota Ishave Namaha. Namaste Astu Dhanvane Bahubhyamutate Namaha. Yata Ishu Shivatama Shivam Babhuvate Dhanuhu. Shiva Sharavya Jata Vatajano Rudramridaja. Yate Rudra Shiva Tanura Ghora Papakashini. Tajanastanu Vashantamaya Girishantabhichakashihi. Yamishum Girishantahaste Bibharshastave. Shivangiritratam Kurumahikam Sif Purushan Jagate. Shivena Vachasatva Girishacchavadamasi. Yathanas Sarvamikchakata Jakshmagum Sumana Asate. Adhyavochadadhi Bhakta
Prathamo Daivyo Bhishaka Ahi.
Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraja.
One second.
Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraja. Om Namaste Rudramanyava Utota Ishave Namaha. Namaste Astu Dhanvane Bahubhyamutate Namaha. Yata Ishu Shivatama Shivam Babhuvate.
Yeah, this is something is screwed up. Sorry. Where were we?
Starting number 8.
Asauyo, so we can just do it together. Asauyo vasarpati nilagrivo vilohitaha utainan gopa adrishan udaharyaha utainan vishwa bhutani sadrishto mridayatinaha namo astu nilagrivaaya sahasrakshaya mindushe अथो ये अस्य सत्त्वानो हन्तेभ्यो करन्नमः प्रमुञ्च धन्वनस्त्वमुभयोरार्त्नियोर्जाम् याश्च ते हस्त इषवः पराता भगवो वप अवतत्य धनुस्त्वगुं सहस्राक्षशते शुधे निशीर्य शल्यानां मुखा शिवो नः सुमना भव विज्यन्धनुक्कपर्दिनो विशल्यो बाणवागुम् उत अनेशन्नस्येषव आभुरस्य निषङ्गतिः या ते हेतिर्मीदुष्टमहस्ते बभूव ते धनुः तयास्मान् विश्वतस्त्वमयक्ष्मया परिभुज नमस्ते अस्त्वायुधायानातताय धृष्णवे उभाभ्याम् उत ते नमो बाहुभ्यां तव धन्वने परिते धन्वनो हेतिरस्मान् वृणक्तु विश्वतः अथो य इषुधिस्तवारे अस्मन्निधेहितम् नमस्ते अस्तु भगवन् विश्वेश्वराय महादेवाय त्र्यम्बकाय त्रिकाग्निकालाय कालाग्निरुद्राय नीलकण्ठाय मृत्युञ्जयाय सर्वेश्वराय सदाशिवाय श्रीमन्महादेवाय नमः। नमो हिरण्यबाहवे सेनान्ये दिशान् वृक्षेभ्यो हरिकेशेभ्यः पशूनां पतये नमो नमः सस्पिञ्जराय त्विषीमते पतये नमो नमो बप्लुषाय विव्याधिने नानां पतये नमो नमो हरिकेशायोपवीति पुष्टानां पतये नमो नमो भवस्य हेत्यै जगतां पतये नमो नमो यातताविने क्षेत्राणां पतये नमो नमः सूताय हन्त्याय वनानां पतये नमो नमः रोहिताय स्थपतये वृक्षाणां पतये नमो नमो मन्त्रिणे वाणिजाय कक्षाणां पतये नमो भवन्तये वारिवस्कृताय औषधीनां पतये पतये नमो नमः कृत्स्नवीताय धावते सत्त्वनां पतये नमः नमः सहमानाय निव्याधिन आव्याधिनीनां पतये नमो निषङ्गिने एस्तेनानां पतये नमो नमो निषङ्गिन इषुधिमते तस्कराणां पतये नमो नमो वञ्चते परिवञ्चते स्तायूनां पतये नमो नमो रण्यानां पतये नमो नमः श्रिकाविभ्यो जिघागुंसद्भ्यो मुष्णतां पतये नमो नमो तञ्चरभ्यः प्रकृन्तानां पतये नमो नमः उष्णीषिणे गिरिचलाय कुलुञ्चानां इषुमद्भ्यो धन्वाविभ्यश्च वो नमो नमः आतन्वानेभ्यः प्रतिदधानेभ्यश्च वो नमो आयच्छद्भ्यो विसृजद्भ्यश्च वो नमो नमोऽस्यद्भ्यो विद्यद्भ्यश्च वो नमो नमः वासि सपद्भ्यो जाग्रद्भ्यश्च वो नमो नमस्तिष्ठद्भ्यो धावद्भ्यश्च वो नमो नमः सभाभ्यः सभापतिभ्यश्च वो नमो नमो अश्वेभ्योऽश्वपतिभ्यश्च वो नमः नम आव्याधिनीभ्यो विविध्यन्तीभ्यश्च वो नमो नमः उगनाभ्यस्त्रिगुंहतीभ्यश्च वो नमो नमो गृत्सेभ्यो गृत्सपतिभ्यश्च वो नमो नमो व्रातेभ्यो व्रातपतिभ्यश्च वो नमो गणपतिभ्यश्च वो नमो विरूपेभ्यो विश्वरूपेभ्यश्च वो नमो महद्भ्यः शुल्लकेभ्यश्च वो नमो रथिभ्यो रथेभ्यश्च वो नमो रथेभ्यो रथपतिभ्यश्च वो नमो नमः सेनाभ्यः सेनानीभ्यश्च वो नमो शत्रुभ्यः संग्रहीतृभ्यश्च वो नमो नमस्तक्षद्भ्यो रथकारेभ्यश्च वो नमो नमः कुलालेभ्यः कर्मारेभ्यश्च वो नमो नमः पुञ्जिष्टेभ्यो निषादेभ्यश्च वो नमो नमः इषुकृद्भ्यो धन्वकृद्भ्यश्च वो नमो मृगयुभ्यश्च वो नमो नमः श्वभ्यश्वपतिभ्यश्च वो नमः नमो भवाय च रुद्राय च नमः शर्वाय च पशुपतये च नमो नीलग्रीवाय च शितिकण्ठाय च नमः कपर्दिने च व्युक्तकेशाय सहस्राक्षाय च शतधन्वने च नमो गिरिशाय च शिपिविष्टाय च मीडुष्टमाय चेषुमते च नमो ह्रस्वाय च वामनाय च नमो बृहते च वर्षीयसे च नमो ऋद्वाय च समृद्ध्वने च नमो अग्र्याय च प्रथमाय च आशवे चाजिराय च नमः शीघ्रियाय क्षीभ्याय च नमः ऊर्ण्याय चावस्वन्याय च नमः स्रोतस्याय च द्वीप्याय च नमो ज्येष्ठाय च कनिष्ठाय च नमः पूर्वजाय चापरजाय च नमो मध्यमाय चापगल्भाय च जगन्याय च बुध्नियाय च नमः सोभ्याय च प्रतिसर्याय च नमो याम्याय च क्षेम्याय च उर्वर्याय च खल्याय च नमो श्लोक्याय चावसान्याय च वन्याय च कक्ष्याय च नमः श्रवाय च प्रतिश्रवाय च नमः आशुषेनाय चाशुरथाय च शूराय चावभिन्दते च नमो वर्मिने च वरूथिने च बिल्मिने च कवचिने च नमः श्रुताय च श्रुतसेनाय च नमो दुन्दुभ्याय चाहनन्याय च नमो धृष्णवे च प्रमृषाय च दूताय च प्रहिताय च नमो निषङ्गिने चेषुधिमते च नमस्तीक्ष्णे शवे चायुधिने च स्वायुधाय च सुधन्वने च नमः श्रुत्याय च पथ्याय च काट्याय च नीप्याय च नमः सूत्याय च सरस्याय च नमो नाद्याय च वैशन्ताय च कूप्याय चावठ्याय च नमो वर्ष्याय चावर्ष्याय च नमो मेघ्याय च विद्युत्याय च ईध्रियाय चातप्याय च नमो वात्याय च रेश्मियाय च वास्तव्याय च वास्तुपाय च हर हर नमः सोमाय च रुद्राय च नमस्ताम्राय चारुणाय च शंगाय च पशुपतये च नमः उग्राय च भीमाय च नमो अग्रे बधाय च दूरे बधाय च नमो अन्त्रे च हनीयसे च नमो वृक्षे हरिकेशेभ्यो नमस्ताराय नमः शम्भवे च मयो भवे च शंकराय च मयस्कराय च नमः शिवाय च शिवतराय च नमस्तीर्थ्याय च कूल्याय च पार्याय च वार्याय च नमः प्रतरणाय चोत्तरणाय च नमः आतार्याय च लाद्याय च षष्ट्याय च फेन्याय च नमः सिकत्याय च प्रबाह्याय च नमः इरिण्याय च प्रपथ्याय च नमः किगुंशिलाय च क्षयनाय च कपर्दिने च पुलस्तये च कोष्ठ्याय च गृह्याय च नमस्तल्प्याय च गेह्याय च नमः काठ्याय च गह्वरेष्ठाय च नमो हृदयाय च निवेश्याय च नमः पागुंसव्याय च रजस्याय च शुष्क्याय च हरित्याय च नमो लोप्याय चोलप्याय च नमः ऊर्व्याय च शून्याय च पर्ण्याय च पर्णशद्याय च नमो पगुरमानाय चाभिघ्नते च नमः अखिदते च प्रखिदते च नमो वक्किरिकेभ्यो देवानागुं हृदयेभ्यो विक्षीणकेभ्यो नमो विचिन्वत्केभ्यो नमः आनिर्हतेभ्यो नमः आमीवत्केभ्यः द्रापे अंधसस्पते दरिद्रन्नीललोहित येषां पुरुषाणाम् येषां पशूनां माभेर्रोमो येषां किञ्चनाममत् या ते रुद्रशिवा तनु शिवा विश्वाह भेषजी शिवा रुद्रस्य भेषजी तया नो मृडजीवसे इमागुं रुद्राय तवसे कपर्तिने क्षयत्वीराय प्रभरामहे मते यथा नश्यमसद्विपदे चतुष्पदे विश्वं पुष्टन् ग्रामे अस्मिन्ननातुरं मृडानो रुद्रोतनो मयस्कृधि क्षयत्वीराय नमसा विधेमते यच्छञ्चयोश्च मनुरायचे पिता ददश्यामरवरुद्रप्रणीतौ मानो महान्तमुतमानो अर्भकं मान उक्षन्तमुतमान उक्षितं मानो वधिः पितरं मोत मातरं प्रियामानस्तनुवो रुद्र मानस्तोके तनये मान आयुषिमानो गोषुमानो अश्वेषु रीरिषः वीरान्मानो रुद्रभामितो वधीर्हविष्मन्तो नमसा विधेमते आरात्ते गोग्न उत पूरुषग्ने क्षयत्वीराय सुम्नमस्मे ते अस्तु रक्षा च नो अधि च देव ब्रूह्यथा च नः शर्म यच्छद्विबर्हा आहा स्तुहि श्रुतं गर्तसदंयुवानं मृगन्न भीममुपहत्नुमुग्रम् मृडाजरित्रे रुद्रस्तवानो अन्यन्ते अस्मन्निव पन्तु सेना आहा परिणो रुद्रस्य हेतिर्वृणक्तु परित्वेषस्य दुर्मतिरघायोः अवस्थिरा मगवद्भ्यस्तनुष्वमीढ्वस्तोकाय मृडय मीडुष्टमशिवतमशिवो नः सुमना भव परमे वृक्ष आयुधन्निधाय कृत्तिं वसान आचर पिनाक वृदागहि विकिरिदविलोहितनमस्ते अस्तु भगवः यास्ते सहस्रगुं हेतयोऽन्यमस्मन्निवपन्तु ताः सहस्राणि सहस्रधा बाहुवोस्तव हेतयः तासामीशानो भगवः पराचीनामुखाकृति सहस्राणि सहस्रशो ये रुद्रा अधिभूम्याम् तेषागुं सहस्रयोजने वधन्वानि तन्मसि अस्मिन् महत्यर्णवे एन्तरिक्षे भवा अधि नीलग्रीवा शितिकण्ठा आशर्वा अधः क्षमाचराः नीलग्रीवा शितिकण्ठा दिवगुं रुद्रा उपश्रिताः ये वृक्षेषु सस्पिञ्जरा नीलग्रीवा विलोहिताः ये भूतानामधिपतयो विशिखासक्कपर्दिनः ये अन्नेषु विविध्यन्ति पात्रेषु पिबतो जनान् ये पथां पथिरक्षय ऐलभृधायव्युदः ये तीर्थानि प्रचरन्ति श्रिकावन्तो निषङ्गिनः य एतावन्तश्च भूयागुंसश्च दिशो रुद्रावितस्थिरे तेषागुं सहस्रयोजने वदन्वानि तन्मसि नमो रुद्रेभ्यो ये पृथिव्यां ये एन्तरिक्षे ये दिवि येषामन् पातो वर्षमिषवस्तेभ्यो दश प्राचीर्दश दक्षिण प्रतीचीर्दशोदीचीर्दशोर्ध्वास्तेभ्यो नमस्ते नो मिडयन्तु तेयं द्विष यश्च नो द्वेष्टितं वोजम्भे दधामि यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् यो रुद्रो अग्नौ यो अप्सु य ओषधीषु यो रुद्रो विश्वभुवना विवेश तस्मै रुद्राय नमो अस्तु तमुष्टु हि यस्विषु सुधन्वायो विश्वस्य क्षयति भेषजस्य यक्ष्वा आमहे सौ ॐ मनसाय रुद्रन्नमो ओभिर्देवमसुरन्दुवस्य अयं मे हस्तो भगवान् अयं मे भगवत्तरः अयं मे विश्वभे एष जो यगुं शिवाभिमर्शनः ये ते सहस्रमयुतं पाशा मृत्यो मर्त्याय हन्तवे तान् यज्ञस्य मायया सर्वा नवयजामहे मृत्यवे स्वाहा मृत्यवे स्वाहा ॐ नमो भगवते रुद्राय विष्णवे मृत्युर्मे पाहि प्राणानां ग्रन्थिरसि रुद्रो मा विशान्तकः तेनान्नेमा आप्यायस्व सदा नमो रुद्राय विष्णवे मृत्युर्मे पाहि ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। just chant the Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So happy we are beginning the new year with this chanting of the Rudram, which is, as you know, a very important mantra which is in all the four Vedas. And it is chanted quite sincerely with even the advanced students of Vedanta, those who are brahmacharis and who are seeking salvation from all the kind of dukkhas. You find them chanting Rudram. And there is a reason for that, and I'll very briefly mention that in the time that we have. We can perhaps focus that on as a separate subject some other time. That was not really the main thing. The main objective is the class that I'm going to teach very shortly. Nevertheless, just a few summary comments about the importance of Rudram in our lives. So I was thinking that there are two main advantages of understanding Rudram, two main objectives you may. The first one is, as you know quite well by now, and we've been discussing it in the 7th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, which is the Vishwarupa Darshanam of Ishvara, is this. Our appreciation of Ishvara in our lives takes three phases. We've been discussing this, and so should not come as a complete surprise. And for those of you that have been studying, it should not also come as a surprise. But sometimes just structuring it again clarifies things in our mind. We just don't realize it in our daily lives. So the three phases are as follows. 4 phases really. The first phase is that we don't appreciate what Ishvara is, because we only are concerned with things that our sense organs tell us. We see things, we hear things, we touch, we listen to our parents, and so on and so forth. We eat, we are hungry. Those are the things we are concerned with. And in this transactional life, Ishvara doesn't appear to the people. We don't know where it is. And many times, even in families, there is no discussion of Ishvara or anything like this. So anyway, this is the first stage. Then, and I think we will go over this in a bit more detail in our 7 steps, something happens where you begin to inquire. And it can be aided by, if you have the right sanskaras, to be born into a family where at least some help is given to you. Yes, you should inquire. You should look into it. And you start reading books. And you have a sense that must be something more than what appears in the world. There's got to be, because you begin to see the very nice structure of the world. And nothing which is of a structure is designed by a inert object. It has to be done by an intelligent person. Who is that intelligent person? So then the first stage of the appreciation of Ishvara is, and again with the help of the families, parents, society and so on, is to pray to someone who appeals to you as a murti, as an idol, and as something that you can go and visit the temples. And you begin to develop a bond with the personification of Ishvara. So this is what is called Ekadesha Ishvara, Ekarupa Ishvara. And so a lot of help is given with respect to that. You feel a lot better, your mind is more resolved, and you also are given a lot of hope for the future. That I think things are going to be okay, if not in this life, perhaps in next life. So that really gives you certain solace. Then the next stage is where instead of Ekarupa Ishvara, you become Anekarupa Ishvara. This is where Rudram comes into the picture. Anekarupa Ishvara means this is a serious study where you are taught and you become receptive to the idea that it is not an Ishvara sitting at one place, but really this is the whole exposition of Ishvara. The whole world is nothing but an exposition of Ishvara. And so this is what is called Vishwarupa Ishvara. And this requires a lot of study, lot of changing of belief into your knowledge, and so on. So now briefly, I don't want to spend that much time on it, because I think some of it will be repeated. The first advantage of chanting and understanding Rudram is to appreciate that really everything that happens in my life has been sanctioned and has been deliberately given to me by Ishvara. And in the chanting of the Rudram, if you understand it, it goes into small details, big picture, bad things as well as good things. It says that my helpers are also you, and the robbers that come to hurt me is also you. The good animals that don't harm me are also you. Snakes that can kill me are also you. There is nothing which is outside. It's not that at all. So this is the first advantage of the Rudram, and it goes into meticulously in all of the stages of what is I understand. And some of it is, fake it until you make it. Because it is the truth. I think a better way to, Swami Dayanandji had said, is that it's exactly like learning to swim. You know you will be able to swim, but you don't do it yet. So for the time being, you pretend as though you are swimming. You cannot sit there and not swim and learn how to swim. You have to get into the water, and you have to make all of the same strokes as though you're swimming. And at that time you're not swimming, but it is all based on your effort. But soon something happens where, we've all gone through when we learn how to ride the bike. Why, magical things. At first I don't know how to balance it, and there is a support behind me. And so that support behind me is the regular chanting of Rudram, where I don't understand the meaning yet, but if I keep doing it and studying it and spending time with it, I begin to see that really everything in my life is touched by Ishvara. It is designed by Ishvara. It is supported by Ishvara. It is given to me. I deserve everything that is happening in my life. So this is the first advantage of learning Rudram. And here's the second advantage. The second advantage is that if you have gotten into some problems, the best way to understand is you need to see a doctor who may prescribe some bitter medicines and possibly surgery. Painful surgery. It's very possible. And if you say, no, I am very sick and so on, but I don't want any bitter medicines. I don't want surgery. I don't want anything painful to me. Which I remember one of my kids actually used to do this. He says, no, the doctor is my enemy, don't take me to the hospital. So we used to smile at him and says, no, it's going to be okay. So this is the second advantage of Rudram, is that I know you are giving me pain. I know you are punishing me. But may I have the perseverance to stick with it and to see that I will be okay. And so this actually is the explanation of the word Rudram. Rudra means that one who makes you weep, to cry. But here also one should understand that the person who's making you cry is a doctor who says, I don't know what else to do. You've got some serious problem. You have to go through with this. And whatever happened is happened and it'll be okay. You just stick with the surgeries. Stick, and if possible, you may have to take up another life in this case. But eventually everything will be okay. Here Swami Dayanand used to say that he had given a very interesting, just to summarize, and I'm done, that's all I wanted to do about Rudram. He said, one of the things that we should be aware of is that our life consists of, what we could do, we have these cushions. Come, Raji. We have, I think they are in this room, are they? Yeah, I think we could have some.
Sorry.
Yeah, no problems. Swamiji used to say that another way to look into how we are faced with problems.
Can hear in the back.
Oh, really? Okay. Hello, testing. Is it better? Okay, good. So Swami Dayanand used to say that. He says, another way of looking at the problems in our life is to look at it from the standpoint of something that you are indebted to. So the whole concept of debt, D-E-B-T, debt. The nature of a debt is that you've taken something and until you pay it back, you are worried and it gives you concern. This is the nature of a debt. Rani, I think you can come. There are some more. Oh, there's places to sit here. So this is an interesting concept. If you look at the Sanskrit word for debt, I don't know if many of you remember this or not. The Sanskrit word for debt is kritagya. Kritagya. I am indebted to you means aham kritagya. Beautiful word. Kritagya means kritam janati yaha. Kritam janati yaha iti kritagya. Kritam janati means I know what has been done. Kritam means what has been done. Means I've taken something from you that is kritam. And janati means one I am aware of. I am aware of. It is exactly like the patient seeking the doctor saying, I know what I have done. I was very careless. And I just, this is what happens when you overeat and you have diseases. And if you don't understand what you have done, you are not going to have the right attitude towards the doctor. But here, you are indebted to the system because you have taken a lot of unnecessary loans, as though, in a way. And until you pay it back, you are not going to be happy. So, the feeling of indebtedness also is incorporated in the Rudram. So these are the two main reasons for Rudram. One is to see the presence of Ishvara. You are not alone. Really, you may not realize it, but everything has the sanction of Ishvara, including some severe pain to you. Because without that, there's no other way to do that. So these are the two main reasons for Rudram, and hopefully we can just remember those 2 points, and if not, then we can certainly study Rudram in more detail, some in our life, but so that's what that is. Okay, so let's go to the main subject of today's class. So this chapter in Panchadashi, which is a remarkable book, really. I'm beginning to admire the significance of Panchadashi in my life. As a Panchadashi is a very good, it's what is called a Prakarana Grantha, and I think I mentioned that in the article. I don't know if you have a chance to look at it, but a Prakarana Grantha means a text for a particular topic. So that is what is called Prakaranam. Prakaranam means a reference to something specific. And here, the Prakaranam is the summary of the essence of all the Upanishads in an easier way to understand than having to be a scholar. Because to understand Upanishads, you have to understand grammar, you have to understand language, you have to understand the various ways of interpreting sentences. There's a lot of academic background required. And if we don't have that, there must be some way someone can translate that for us that we can relate to. So I really, every time I read Panchadashi, I can appreciate. And having known I've studied the Upanishads, but now to be given in a summary in a very easy to understand is remarkable. And on top of that, I think my discovery of the Hindi translations by Swami Maheshananji just added a lot of detail to it, and I'm I just enjoy it. And in the Panchadashi, there are different topics. Even the whole Grantha is a Prakarana Grantha, but within that there is a lot of other topics also. And one of the topics of that is, how do we maintain a sense of satisfaction in our life? Tripti. Tripti is called, it's a very interesting word, Tripti. Because sometimes I know people have asked me questions that, what is the difference between happiness? What is the objective? What is moksha? Is it happiness? Is it excitement? Is it peace? What is it? And I think the word tripti is a very good indication of moksha. Tripti means, and in fact this is another thing that we should know, we have tripti in our lives. And the best way to have tripti in our lives, Ishvara has given it to us. And leave aside the deep sleep, which is tripti also. But during the day, even if we have problems, supposing we have a lot of things, we've got things to do, and there's worry in our lives and so on, eating gives you tripti. It's a remarkable thing, really. You may have lots of things going on in your lives and so on, but hunger is created in a beautiful way where it demands your attention right away. You better eat. And if you are fortunate to be able to eat well, you don't go hungry, then for a few minutes you have tripti. Swami Dayanand used to say that. It's called alam buddhi. Alam buddhi means no more. I don't want any more. Whether you are very hungry, normally you eat 1 or 2 chapatis, this time you want to have parathas and so on also. After a while, this is another thing that happens, your spouses are excellent that way. No, you can eat some more. No, honey, I think you can have more. So he or she is there very, very solicitous of your tripti. And after a while you say, you know what, I'm done. That is a sense where you don't desire anything. You're not worried. For a while you have tripti. For a while. It doesn't last that long. It just does not last. You again your worries come back. So the topic of this chapter is it possible to have a sense of satisfaction which never goes away? And that is what Vedanta is all about. This is the essence of Vedanta. And you can call it happiness, you can call it peace, but I think the tripti is a very beautiful word. Just means I don't need anything. I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm happy. That is the sense that I think we need to. And so the question is it possible to be totally fulfilled? To have tripti which does not go away? Yes, it is possible. How? So there, as we have seen, there are different stages in our lives that are given, and the segment of the 15 verses 33 to 47 really throws very good light to that. So these steps that we are going to discuss relate to the following concepts of Vedanta that you are already familiar with. I'm just going to give it to you. Ajnanam, ignorance. Avaranam, which is I'm sorry, these are the 7 steps. The things that it relates to will come later on. I'm sorry. So the 7 steps are ignorance of truth. You can call it ignorance of God also. Is the same thing, really. There's no difference of truth and God. Second one is, even though you are open to understand the truth, you don't get it. So there's the second stage, which is called avaranam. So avarana means that there is something there, but you just don't see it. In the first one, you don't even think about it. But in the second one, you do think about it, but you still aren't any wiser. That is avaranam. And a result of the avaranam and ajnanam is your behavior, which we will go into that in a second, which is called vikshepa. And so the first three are the stages of bondage, as we will see. Then comes the beginning of the end, starting with the two, which is paroksha jnanam, which is indirect knowledge, and aparoksha jnanam, which is your own personal experience that this is really the truth. And then as a result of that, you have the last two stages, and Swami Vidyaranya has given this specifically, and I can see this so very clearly, that the first thing that happens is you may not yet have unbridled tripti, but the sharpness of problems and pain are gone. So the first stage is the shoka nivritti. And so that means that at least the sharpness of pain, pain may still be there, some sorrow will be there, but then it starts to diminish in its intensity. And that's the first thing that happens. And then slowly, and all these, by the way, it's not as though you're going to see a sudden jump from one to the other. This is really just a continuum. But the direction is important for us to see. And I think another thing that I will discuss in more detail is a sense of self-evaluation. This is really like a scale with 7 points where you can evaluate yourself. Where are you? And we'll discuss that. So I think that's another thing that that attracted me, the 7 steps given in the verse number 33 to 47. So the other thing I was saying was that these 7 steps are cast in terms of some well-known Vedantic concepts. So it's not as though most of this should be familiar to you. It is simply structured in a way that we can understand it and relate to it better. First one is viveka, the ability to discriminate. Second is vairagya, that the ability to let go of trivial things, unnecessary things. The concept of vairagya is very simple. It's like a child that is so used to playing with dolls and marbles and silly things that after a while the parent says enough, now you have to study. And so to give up the preoccupation with silly things to go to something more important is what vairagya is. So vairagya. Then the 4 things that all human beings aspire for. These are very natural. First one is a sense of security, things, artha. The second one is after you have achieved a sense of security, your whole system wants some fun. And so that is kama. Then there is a possibility that you can achieve a sense of peace by being proactively ethical, helping others. That wasn't obvious to you earlier in your life, but soon you find, my goodness, if I'm involved in some social service or helping others and just preserve the ethicalness of society, that gives you a lot of peace. So this is dharma. And finally, you begin to see that all three, artha, kama, and dharma, appear to be very limited. Is it possible that I can be unlimited? That inquiry, that commitment, that follow through, resulting in moksha, which is really tripti, is the fourth thing that we all somehow desire. The moksha doesn't enter our picture because it doesn't seem to be possible. But if we are lucky, we find it is possible, and let's go for it. So these are these 7 steps. So these are the things that we are associated with. Then also, these 7 steps are cast in terms of the way of understanding, which you know by now, is Shravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasanam. So Shravanam means a complete understanding of what the Vedas are saying. What is Atma? What is Anatma? There's a lot of introductory material that I have to be clear. Not just 1 or 2 classes, but Swami Paramarthananda says that a student is one who is committed to complete the study for as long as it takes. It takes 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, doesn't matter. But there comes a point where you read something and it says, yes, I know this. I'm familiar with it. This is still Shravanam. Then comes the exposition, the inquiry into why is it that it's not benefiting me now? How is that different from my own experience? This is the analysis of Mananam. I think I told you this before, but an incident comes in my mind. So we were studying with Swami Dayanandji at the Piercy Ashram from 79 to 82. And in the winter of 81, about this time actually, of 81 December, and we had only about 6 months more of the course to go. So we had been studying for 2 years, night and day. We had finished all the major Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, 4 sutras had not yet come. Those are going on. Anyway, it was towards the end. So Swamiji had taken a month off to go back to India. And during that time, we were also free to travel. And so I decided that we had never been to some of these southern Indian temples. And so it'll be nice for us to see that. So I took my family and we spent 3 or 4 weeks in touring South India, visiting temples, going to Swamiji's birthplace. And also then Swamiji said that, and Rishikesh also, I'd never been to Rishikesh. And so he asked me to go there, and so we went to Rishikesh. Then he said, while you're in Rishikesh, pay your respects to my teacher, and Swami Taranandji. So Swami Dayanand has 3 teachers, as I've talked about it. So one initially was Swami Chinmayanand, who gave him the initial inspiration. Then I think his understanding became very clear, because he was not quite done yet. He was still moving around and so on. But there was a teacher in Vijayawada called Swami Pranavananda. And Swamiji stayed with him for several months. And he was the one who showed him exactly what is going on. So in some ways, he considers Swami Pranavananda as his main guru. But then Swami Pranavananda said that you have to study the entire Shastra. This is just a beginning, but you have to really thoroughly understand why this vision is what it is. And for that, please go and study with with a teacher based in Haridwar near Rishikesh by the name of Swami Taranandji. So Swami Dayanand then spent quite a long time, I don't know how long, maybe several years, studying all the Upanishads, the Sanskrit language and so on with Swami Taranand. And he also considers Swami Taranand along with these two other teachers as his inspiration. Anyway, to long story, so Swamiji said, if you are in Rishikesh, please go and say hello to Swami Taranandji, which I did. I remember my mother was with me, my wife, two kids, and the driver took us to his place, and we said we are students of Swami Dayanand. So Swami Taranandji came out, and we did our pranams to him, offered us some tea, and then he says, tell us, what are you doing? So I told him, said, Swamiji, we are studying with Swami Dayanandji. He says, yes, I know he's teaching a course somewhere in USA. I said, yes, I'm the student. So he says, what have you been studying? Oh, I was so proud. I said, okay, thanks for asking. We started with Tattva Bodha. So he said, yes, good. Then I went through this long list of things and asked things. And my feeling at that point was that I'm pretty much done. And Swami Taranand, he punctured my balloon. He said in Hindi, अभी तो श्रवण हो रहा है, अभी तो मनन बाकी है, काफी मनन करना पड़ेगा. So he said, this is you are just doing the Shravanam, but there is a lot of Mananam to be done. And I said, what? I thought I'm done. I really had a feeling that Mananam is very important. The whole life is spent in Mananam. And then the final one is where through ekagrata and other through meditation and so on, nididhyasanam, where you understand everything but your mind is not used to it, to collect it and to make it as a fruitful endeavor is called nididhyasanam. Anyway, so these 7 steps go through all of that. So let me now go back to the 7 stages. So as we know, the first stage is that of ignorance. So we are all born into this. And what does that mean? It means that I am bound by all the worldly laws. Health, emotions, circumstances are the ones that really control my tripti. My tripti is totally bound by external things, and it will be for quite a while. But this is the normal one, and there's nothing wrong with this. This is the way we start. And also, we have a natural pursuit of artha and kama. We want to we have security. We want security. We want security of the home, shelter, money, important. And we also then indulge in fun activities, kama, which is not meant for security but for pleasurable experiences. Possible later addition of dharma. For some it comes very late, for some who are lucky it comes early, but dharma means the possibility that there is something more than artha and kama. Something more is required for my peace and happiness. Anyway, we'll come to that later on. But one characteristic of this stage and the number 2 and 3 is a total lack of viveka. What is viveka in this particular context? Viveka means being able to distinguish who I really am versus what I take myself to be. There is a difference. This is not easy to distinguish. They appear to be the same. So you can, even a question can come in. What do you mean who I really am? How can I be different from what I take for myself to be? I know myself very well. What is more there? What is there more to know about myself? So this just means total lack of viveka. You can't even talk to the person. Can't even, this is exactly like where you have absolutely no distinction between the role that you're playing and who you are. You're not capable of doing that. So therefore, in that case, your sense of doership and enjoyership, kartritvam and bhoktritvam, is very real. So what that means is that everyone feels that I am responsible for my life. I can do whatever I can, whatever I want to. I can go turn right, I can turn left, I can attend a class, not attend a class. This is me. I am doing it. I am responsible for it. And if things don't work out, things don't work out. So this is the enjoyership. It's all very real. And there is no question of, because I don't have any viveka, there was no question of giving up things. Lack of vairagya. Also, I structure my life based on what I like and what I don't like. And I accentuate it. I am surrounded by people that I like. I want to avoid the company of people that I don't like. And I eat things that I like. And if there is a bitter gourd Karela, which is supposed to be good for me if I'm diabetic, I don't like, and I don't eat it. And so really my life is based on the contours of likes and dislikes. This is what stage 1 and stage 2, I'll go into this in more detail later on. Then the stage 4 and 5 one other thing. I think I've pretty much covered that. So stage 4 and 5 starts with the introduction to Viveka. The introduction to Viveka means, did you know that you are different from what you think you are? And here the teaching is given with the example of the dream character. The dream is a very important aspect of it, that it happens that when you're dreaming, you don't feel you're dreaming. You have an experience of dream. At that time, it is the same experience as waking. You have the same sukha dukkha. You have the same likes and dislikes. You have the same questions about what is going on and everything. You still have same kartritvam and bhoktritvam. But it's not real. When you wake up, you realize, oh my goodness, I was having a nightmare for nothing. There's no reason for it. I'm completely different from that. And as you know, in the study of the Mandukya, this is a very important step, because we have said this many times in the class, that for a Vedantic student, the study of dream is more important than the study of the waking state. And the reason for that is very clear, amazing as this statement feels. The reason for that is that you should see that you are appearing to be bound, but you are really not bound. Therefore, the appearance of being bound even in the waking state will one day go. This Shraddha, this commitment, this understanding, this possibility of understanding has to be there. And so this is the teaching of Vedanta. It starts with Viveka. In the stages of 4 and 5, Vairagya is not possible, it hasn't come into the picture yet. But at least you should have Viveka. Then, one example comes to my mind where when there's a child who loves candy and is walking on the road and it sees a candy on the floor and it picks up and starts to eat it, and his mom says, "No, don't eat that." Well, the child is very confused. "Don't eat that? What do you mean? You've been giving me candy all day long. Why can't I eat that?" And the mother has to tell, "No, this is dirty. You don't use things from the floor." And the child doesn't understand. There's no discrimination. That this is tinged with dirt, this is clean. That is not there yet. We are confused by it. But slowly, as you learn, you begin to say, "Yes, I should not be picking up things." Then you become a mother and you teach the other children about the same thing. This is exactly what happens. Here we learn about Viveka, but the Vairagya has not entered into the picture. So there we all saw in the in our teachings and so on that a sense of fullness is praptasya prapti. That the sense of fullness is not something that you don't have, but you already have, and you don't realize it. And here, the presence of God is a very important aspect of it, because your whole inquiry is incomplete until you look at all aspects of it, including Ishvara's presence. So both and so this is where the 3 stages of Ishvara come into the picture. The first stage is an introduction through Ekarupa Ishvara, as we were discussing earlier. Then the second stage is Anekarupa Ishvara, where I begin to see that it is really my own myopic nature that I fail to see the presence of Ishvara. And I think the most important one is to simply understand who is making my heart beat, who is giving me the oxygen. So this is the concept of the indebtedness. Indebtedness means, when you say thank you. So the word thank you means, I think a better, this is the definition of kritagya that I had given earlier. A thank you should be transformed into appreciation. God is not sitting there, Ishvara is not sitting there saying, "Oh, he hasn't thanked me today." Nothing like that. The thank you is for you and I. It is not for God. And the best way to understand thank you is to say, "Oh my God, this is how I'm being helped. This is who is behind me, who's keeping me alive, who's giving me prana, So this is the appreciation of Anekarupa Ishvara. And if you keep at that, then the third and the last stage comes in. And the last stage is that myself taking to be, and this is the completion of Viveka. The last stage comes in where you say, I take myself to be a karta, bhokta, kartritvam, doer, enjoyer as a separate individual. That individuality is false. Just like the dreamer status is false, therefore my jivatvam status is also false. It is there, but false. There's a beautiful section in Panchadashi which I am currently studying. This is the 8th chapter, what is called Kuta Deepa Prakaranam. Kutastha Deepa Prakaranam. In this Kutastha Deepa Prakaranam, we'll hopefully study that in more detail sometime, clarifies this very well. What is the distinction between the doing and enjoying of the jiva and the independence of the Atma? This distinction through Viveka, through study, through appreciation is what, so really the indebtedness and the thank yous that we have and so on. Just like we ask somebody, this word kritagya is a beautiful one. So when you say thank you, it means I appreciate what you have done for me. It's a sense of appreciation. So really the presence of Ishvara, it doesn't need thank you from you, except you need to appreciate it. And that appreciation only comes from knowledge, from being aware of the truth of behind the scene things that are going on. And the final one is that, my gosh, I am, as a jiva, is just a superimposition. And I am the same as I have always been and I always will be. And then Tripti will come. That we will go in a little bit later on. I would say finally that in this stage that the doership and enjoyership is there. Because this is a normal question that comes in. Hey, what do you mean? Am I not the doer? Am I not the enjoyer? How can you say that is the key? Because it's very much in my life. We don't say that it is not there. We say that the kartritvam and bhoktritvam belongs to jiva, which is not real. Then you are not the jiva, you are Brahman. This is what we say. So all of that comes from the learning of the freedom from bondage. Okay? Then, in a very brief thing before we go to the final one about our own behavior, that's really the main thing I want to emphasize today. The stages 6 and 7 means all doubts about the teaching are gone. Vairagya accelerates. It was there in the beginning, and as we will see this, I want to postpone talking about it. The old samskaras of jiva are replaced by new samskaras. It's almost like, the old samskaras were trying to swim, are replaced by effortless swimming without trying, is the new samskara. And that comes about slowly in your lives. Okay. Anyway, so this is just the process. Now let's go to the main one. In terms of where are we in our lives, how can we say which stage are we in? This is really the important aspect of this. So for this, I am going through all the stages, one at a time. Okay? So let's look at the behavior. Okay. Stage one, as you know, we've gone through that I, the individual, is real, and so is the world around me. So are the good and bad experiences. There are very sharp highs and lows based on what stage I am in my life. You find a tremendous difference between people who are happy and they have good fortunes, and other people who are very unfortunate. So that is all based on past samskaras, vasanas. But everyone has lots of problems, lots of highs. That's very neat. And another thing is that if you really examine your behavior, I'm talking about experiences and behaviors, what you find is you are constantly manipulating the world around you to suit yourself. You put yourself in positions where you're in a better position than you were before. And it is natural. And you're juggling things. No, I want to do that. No, this I cannot do that anymore. Let me go switch over to doing this. Then I'll do something else. You're juggling, you're manipulating. And Swami Dayanand Ji used to say that you are a sophisticated beggar. Well dressed. You don't look homeless, but you are essentially homeless. And Swami Chinmayananda used to say, instead of saying Hari Om, you should say Hari Home. Let me go back to my own home as quickly as possible. But in the meantime, I'm just snatching moments of happiness here and there. And finally, it is characterized by saying, what do you want me to do? Isn't that what everybody else is doing? Do you have any better ideas? I don't understand that. This is what life is all about, isn't it? This characterizes stage one. Then, I switched on to Then in the stage two, as we have discussed it before, you are now open to otherworldly factors such as God. And initially, it is said that the possibility of the otherworldly interaction with God comes as a transaction, as a business transaction. That, okay, I'm going to go to the temple every Thursday, but I have a list of things that I want to be done. My son is unhealthy. My daughter is not yet married, and please make all these things happen. And I'm willing to do this, but you better give this to me as well. Then extending to the next life. That please, my life is now going on, but make sure that you give me a better place next life. So this becomes part of the dharma. Also, non-verifiable beliefs. You can never be sure. Tinged with uncertainty, tying different ways. Swami Maheshananji has pointed out that he said, things are not happening with me and so on. So he says, which temple do you go to? So he says, I go to the Ganesha temple. That's your problem. That's your problem. Have you gone to the Devi Mandir? He says, no. You should go there. I tell you, Devi Mandir is the one to go to. So like that you go different, you have no idea what to do. whichever gives you better sounding advice, you just turn to it. You don't have a conviction of your own. Non-verifiable belief is in the stage 2. Then but I think one thing that Swami Maheshananji pointed out, that admittedly with dharma in your life, the highs and lows of problems get diminished. They don't hurt you as much. You are cushioned from the fall. That happens. But that's about it. In the third stage, which is really more of an expression of the stage 1 and 2, the main thing that happens is that the doership and enjoyership in the way you conduct your life becomes very much part of your life. And it seems to work for some time. You think that you're reading books and you're learning some things, and it seems to go for a while. It helps you, but not eventually. It does not last at all. And Swami Maheswaranji pointed out, he says, you should see this, that even the temporary happiness is only there to prolong your unhappiness. Hey, this is exactly like, these Swamis have this, they know the concept very well, but they express it differently. So this concept of what I just said from Swami Maheshananji was expressed by Swami Dayanandji. Swami Dayanandji used to say that the jiva's characteristic is like a drowning person. If you look at some of his classes, he's very fond of saying that. Not a drowned person, but a drowning person. A drowned person has no problems. What problem does it have? No, gone. And a person who is not drowning also has no problems. But a person who is drowning, for a while he says, I'm gone. Then you somehow come up and he says, I think I'm going to survive. But you have not yet survived. You can be overcome by, again, the same thing. So really speaking, Swami Maheshananji says this. He says, please understand this. The world does not give you a problem. The world does not give you problems. It is a problem. The very presence of the world is a problem. But we don't see it that way. We say, oh, it looks so happy. See, I had a nice meal and I'm on vacation and so on and so forth. Well, that is just to prolong you for a while until you go back into your natural state of being unhappy. Not a natural state, but an imposed state of that. Anyway, so this is the third stage that was Vikshepa. Then comes the freedom. I'm sorry, I'm going back and forth here. So in stage 4, this is the study of Vedanta. And I would say in fact, one of the students had asked me this question yesterday, where are we in the study? So I feel that most of you are at this stage where you are beginning to have the viveka, the introduction to viveka. You are beginning to be hopeful that this seems to make sense, and because of that you are introducing the study of Vedanta as one of your major activities of your life. Because we have limited time. You can only be doing so many things. And so now this is one of the advantages of having weekly classes. Because many times you may not want to come here, then you feel, and I also actually help you sometimes. If I don't come for a while, I'll send you an email saying, hey, I haven't seen you for a while. Where have you been? And then, of course, nowadays your normal reply is, I'm listening to you. I have no idea whether you're listening to me or not. But it's good. So at least you're now introducing the time to study as one of your activities, which is good. This is how it has to start. And so then what will happen is this, that I can just tell you, this is the main thing that will, let me finish this and then I'll come back to it later on. So in this stage, your pursuit of the worldly activity starts to lessen a little bit. And if you are a sincere student, what will happen is that you will want to get the picture a little clearer by more study. So this is the stage which is what is called your mumukshutvam changes into a desire to know exactly what, how. This is what is called mumukshu turns into jigyasu. Jigyasu means that it seems interesting, but then how exactly is it done? I remember early on in my life when I was introduced to Vedanta, and I had already had 2 master's degrees. I have a master's in computer science and a master's in business degree, and I was going around thinking. But once this was presented to me, I became very ambitious. I said, this is what I want to do. And another thing that happened quite early on was that I wanted to have the same level of understanding as the highest swamis do. I didn't want to be a perennial student the rest of my life. That's not in. Even today, my objective is, why can't I do it? This is the highest goal there is, and why should I not be able to do it? And so, the quest to learn more and to remove doubts, growing conviction that I'm on the right path, and then also another important thing, just acceptance of yourself as a person. The lack of self-criticalness. This is not ego. It's not that I'm the greatest or anything. It's just the opposite. The sense of ego is actually an expression of non-acceptance. Because you hide it with some things, saying, I'm okay, I'm doing very well, and so on. None of that. It's just that you feel that whatever I am is fine. And this, in the later stages, as I'll discuss in a few more minutes, is that it changes from trying to change myself to appreciating what I have already. And what I have already is more than what I knew I had. It's enough. In fact, it is the best. But I never even thought of it. And so, really speaking, this is an important thing that I'll come back to it a little bit later on. Then I think the stage 5 is quite a significant step, really. And that is that somewhere in this whole behavior and experience and so on, you get a clear glimpse of your own fullness, your own independence, unrelated to, because right before the earlier stages is, like for example the example of tripti from a meal. You see, it's a good example to bring it to the stage. There also you have alam buddhi. When you have a good meal, you don't want anything else. Nothing. You don't even want to watch television or anything. You just want to close your eyes and just enjoy the fact that you had a good meal. But there also the thought is always there, I am happy because I ate well. It's still a conditional tripti. It's not an independent tripti. And that's why it goes away. But in the stage 5, you get a sense of independent tripti, a sense of fullness, a sense of unconditional freedom. It may not last, by the way. It may just be for some time, but that's enough. That's enough. Now you know you can go back to it at some point in time. So it becomes more and more frequent, more easily available. At first you have to do all kinds of things and do meditation, and if there's a noise you feel, oh, I hope this noise goes away, and pretty soon you find that the ability to just be yourself, and if there is noise, it doesn't bother you at all. This sense of fullness is the stage 5, and it becomes very palpable, very, very real in your life. And then, of course, all of the teachings aspects of it becomes clear in your mind. Wow, this is really true. There is an Atma, there is an Anatma, there is a Jiva, there is a reflection, there is a total space. All of that, you can see that in your life. It's not like somebody's words that you're writing down, but these are your own personal experiences. So in stage 5, so this is what is called aparoksha jnanam. Not a paroksha jnanam, but your aparoksha jnanam. And the aparoksha jnanam comes from understanding paroksha jnanam. Just staying with it for a while. Anyway, I'll come back to it one more time. Also, another thing to see, this is an important thing to see in number 5. Is that this sense of fullness that you have doesn't appear to be a personal fullness, because it is just fullness. It's just consciousness it's just Satchidananda without any boundaries. And that is the fullness of Ishvara that you have. So there comes really a point where you can say, my God, this is Ishvara is not around me, but it is me. Devoid of your own jivatva. That experience comes. Another thing that I think, and this is not, it's not as though I have arranged it in some order. I think another aspect of this, which is important one, is that when you study the Shastras, it talks about Maya Shakti, how it deceives you and how it creates problems for you, which is true, it does. But the thing that you have to see is that the Maya Shakti is your Shakti. You see, it's not as though an outside thing bothering you. So here the Shastra has always said the following. Ishvara has given you two Shaktis. One is the Maya Shakti and the other one is your Atma Shakti. It is like you have the ability to dream and you have the ability to wake up also. This is what Srishti is all about. Anyway, so the point that I'm making on this Maya aspect is you have to own it and say, I have the ability to deceive myself. So I have to make a decision. Which one do I want? The next point here also is an important aspect, is that, I should do that on the left-hand side. This is an important way of looking at things. You find in all of my experiences in my whole life, and even outside, even before life, I have been the same person. No difference at all. Even as a child, I was the same person. Same person. No changes whatsoever. Because the change cannot really affect me. And so in the future also, I'll be the same person. Devoid of all the superficial coverings to myself. But fundamentally, I will be the same person. It's not as though I'm going to become, there was one of these very famous doctor, what's his name? Chopra, what's his first name? Deepak Chopra. So he was being interviewed on the television the other day. This is what's called little knowledge is a dangerous thing. This is a very interesting thing. Lots of people like that. So he was being interviewed, and he said, "What is this experience?" And he was saying, "Well, there is consciousness, and then there is super consciousness. And the ability to have super consciousness is really what you should do. There's only one consciousness." He may know a lot of the things, but at least, so the thing is that one consciousness is an enclosed consciousness, and the other one is unenclosed consciousness. It's the same space. Not as though the room space is not like a super space. It's one space. But this way of experiencing is a very good one. My God, I've always been the same person. I just misunderstood myself, that's all. So that also becomes part of the stage 5. Then in the stage 6 and 7, 6 and 7 really are the manifestation of vairagya in your life. Because one can argue that, and argue truthfully, that there is no viveka without vairagya. You cannot say that, you know what, I have viveka, I know I'm different, but yet I'm spending all my time watching movies and playing cards and so on and so forth. Yes, if you have to watch movies and you have to play cards, it's only because you are required to by your samskaras. You're married to someone who needs you, you have a family who needs you, you have to do some things. But on your own, you don't need anything. And this grows more and more. This is what is called, all the kamya karmas are gone. Only the nitya naimittika karmas are left. And your own daydreaming, wouldn't it be nice if I went to these places and I visited this and I do this? That means you don't understand. You're fine the way you are, wherever you are. And yet, if something is necessary for someone calls you, then, and did I have said that? Yeah. This is an interesting thing. You follow the script of the movie of Ishvara. You don't say, I wish I had a different role. Not necessary. The role was given to you and you made some changes to it, fine, it's okay. Now just stop changing roles. Just be what you are without necessarily any changes. There's enough in you, you don't need anything else. So this feeling in the stage 3, and also no resistance to change. What I find is that at first I would be critical. Why am I supposed to do this? I just do it. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter because I'm okay the way I am. I'm okay with change, I'm okay without change. And as Swami Paramarthananda says, you really start to replace the triangular format. And the triangular format is you, the world, and God, with a binary format. It is really just you and your reflection. And you are nothing but separate from Ishvara itself. So that feeling starts to really become a major part of your life. And so this takes time, but that is the direction that you have to go through. And the stage 7, this feeling about the issues with the world and so on now transcends into your own body and mind. If you have ill health, if you have emotional issues and so on, you see it more as a joke. Okay, let it be, whatever. Whatever happens, happens. And if I'm seemingly affected by it, I'm seemingly affected by it. I know I'm not really affected by it. So this is and so I think with that, I'll close off and say that use this as a scale in your life. as to where you are. If you are very much interested in other things, then you are not yet ready. Stay with it for a while. Study more. Don't force yourself. Let it come naturally. But there comes a point where you are just happy with yourself. You're not bored with yourself. You don't have to do things. You don't have to have the company of people. You're just fine the way you are. And that has to be discovered. That has to be earned. And then you cannot force it on yourself. But then this will happen. This is the natural trend and consequence of your life. This you should know. And the sooner you set yourself to achieve that, the better off you will be, right in this life itself. Otherwise, taking a different life is not an easy thing. You don't know where you will be. To do it right here itself. So these are the 7 stages that Swami Vidyaranya had pointed out in the Panchadashi, which I found to be absolutely marvelous. So anyway, use that as your study, and sometimes in your life you can go back to the more detailed aspect of it, and viewed from that standpoint, I think, as an assessment of where one is in your life. This is a useful thing to see. So with that, I end this class today and certainly open for any questions. Om Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyate Gamaya Mrityo Ma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hare Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hare Om. Happy to answer any questions from people. Yeah, Ronnie?
So, several times you mentioned through stages 5, 6, and 7 that you don't change, you don't seek change, you accept as you are, right? But then if you don't seek change and you don't change, how do you grow? How do you come to that realization that...
So Ronnie's question is that she said that I have said that you don't change, accept yourself as you are, and if you don't change, then how can you not grow in your life and so on? Yeah, it's a good question. So I think with the teaching, what you realize is that you may want to change as an individual. You need to improve as an individual. You need to become better at things, be healthier, and all of that. That part is okay. But I think that the thing that we should be aware of is that we are where we want to be already. This is the praptasya prapti versus apraptasya prapti. We are already fullness, but we don't realize it. But what happens when we say don't change, so this is an important concept, and it's sung by the poets as Bhavasagar. Bhavasagar sab sukh gaya hai. So what is Bhavasagar? So the Bhavasagar is, I don't like myself the way I am, but let me put myself in a different situation. And you spend a lot of time putting yourself in different situations, then you say, am I okay? No, not really. I may be a little better off than before, but so now you go put yourself in another big situation. You're already searching for something outside of you. when in fact you are okay the way you are. There are certain things that you don't like, but those are not you. They are imposed on you. And see the fact that those are really imposed on you, they're not you. So fundamentally you don't need to change, but in order to see that you don't need to change, you may need to change.
The thinking and the
Your
realization.
thinking, your understanding, all about really this, yeah. Yeah.
Here comes, would you say then here comes the value of values to bring those values in your life, right?
Very much so, yes. Values of amanitvam, adambhitvam, ahimsa, kshanti, arjavam, etc. Those values are important. And I think because all of those values make you appreciate that you are the fullness. That's the reason for why those values are important. Yeah.
So are the stages necessarily linear then, because there's some parts of 5, some parts of 6?
Yeah, they're not, as I said earlier, this is more of a continuum. They're not compartmentalized as such, but that's a direction that one has to be aware of. And yes, you're right, there are some portions from the earlier stage that may linger on in the later stage. It's not all going to happen all at the same time. It's more complex than that, but this is an attempt to simplify it so that you can see. Yeah. Yeah, Kalpana.
I just want to thank you for giving this class. It was excellent and very, very practical.
Good, happy to that. Well, Kalpana reminds me that we have an Aim for Seva event coming up on the 11th, and Kalpana, maybe you can just, on the 12th, sorry. So maybe you can just talk about it and just...
Yeah, basically on 12th of January, which is next Sunday, Suchita, who comes to this class, her cousin's daughter, who is 15 or 16, is putting a classical dance show. 3:30, I guess, in Sunnyvale. I think we all got the flyers.
Santa Clara.
And it'll be nice if we can all go there. The admission is free. There are no tickets or anything like that. And then you can just donate to the link that's given in the email, or donate over there whenever you want. So Sujata wanted me to, yes.
It's in Santa Clara, isn't it? Or Mission Boulevard?
Somewhere in Santa Clara.
Santa
Yeah, the theater is in Santa Clara. It has the capacity of about 350 people, so Morley expects that it will be fine, enough capacity. And the girl has been learning Bharatanatyam since she was 4 or 5. She has done many such events where she donates the whole performance, everything that comes from the performance to the charities. And this time she's decided to give it to Aim for Seva, so we should try to go there, support her and donate as much as we can.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, good wishes for a wonderful, healthy, happy new year to all of you, and see you later. Thank you so much.